contracts. If you're talking about contracting, it's not an easy process. It's intensive. It's not like it's so hard, it's just you have to have everything lined up. Finding community, building community, supporting each other, and getting to our next best levels. A one-person business, or whether you are a three-man business, or whether you have 5,000 employees, you have to have a system in place to flow. You have to know how that works. You do it from your experiences. Maybe it's your life experiences, maybe it's the job that you've had, maybe it's just what you love, like what you have a joy for. So you want to take that, not just do what is your passion, but then form processes around that so that you can get to the funds and so that you can get to the contracts.
If you're interested in getting government contracts, we're leaving money on the table. You thought Trellis was talking about the SBA. Wait till you hear from Taquita talking about the contracts and all this funding that you're going to be able to do to expand and make multiple streams of income. So let's give it up for Taquita White Muhammad.
Well, hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, beautiful beloveds. Okay, can we say we beautiful people in the room? Hello, somebody. I just love it. Dr. T, I need to give it right back to you. Like she said, we met about 13 years ago and became instant friends. And she is one of the people that I love so dearly. And so when she said, Taquita, I need you to come and talk about contracts, I was like, okay, no problem. I will be there for you, sis, okay? And that's what it is all about, right? Finding community, building community, supporting each other, and getting to our next best levels. And so today, can we just have a conversation? I'm just here to have a conversation with you guys, to share a little bit of what I have done for success. Like Dr. T said, I love to travel. That is my goal in life, to go to every country that I can, to reach every state that I can. And that is what I am able to do, because in 2017, actually the last working day of 2017, I walked away from my multi-six-figure contract with Texas Capital Bank as a senior analyst and an officer to pursue my dream. I want to be a contractor. Yes, thank you. I need to do contracts. And I'm going to tell you what got me into this space. What got me into this space is because from 2010 to 2015, I was a 1099 independent freelance contractor. I walked into work one day and we didn't have jobs. My whole department, about 40 of us, I'm in Dallas by way of Louisiana, so I'm a boot girl for life. But my corporate position at this financial consulting firm was gone in the blink of an eye. Like, we had no notice. So from 2010 to 2015, I contracted. I was able to do that under 1099. And when I thought about it, I went back into the banking space in 2015. And I got this, like I said, big position. You know, I have arrived. My family was like, are you crazy? You leaving your job? Like, that security? Yes, I'm leaving it. But here's the thing, you guys. It took me 9 months to the date. I literally birthed my first contract under my business, under my LLC. It wasn't a government contract, it's actually a subcontract. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about subcontracting, prime contracting, being a preferred vendor, as well as government contracting today. Does that sound all right with you? Yeah. All right. So who am I? I am Taquita White Muhammad, and I'm gonna talk to you today about what's your aim and how do you get there with contracting to allow you to work in your flow and in your space of joy, because that's all that I do. When they say I travel, I literally have been to 6 countries this year. I have been to Aruba, and then I have like 2 more countries before the year is out, okay? So I'll be in Africa at the end of the year, and I'm so excited about that. I just want to operate in my flow and encourage, support others who are doing the same. So who am I? I am your joy flowologist, because we operate in that space. What do I mean by that? In order to have contracts, you have to have a system. You have to have flow. You have to have an order where someone can come into your business today, whether you're a small one-person business, or whether you are a 3-man business, or whether you have 5,000 employees. You have to have a system in place to flow. You have to know how that works. And then I I put the joy in the boring sense. I'm a business architect by trade and a business analyst. So I write processes, procedures. I come in, do re-improvements. And that's the core of the business for my firm. But now I get to work with individuals who are looking, you know, to grow their business and to do what they love. And so that's just a little bit about me. I am the founder and owner of 3T Envisage Consultancy. We are a boutique consulting firm based out of Dallas, Texas, by way of Louisiana. As I shared, I've been in Dallas for 22 years now. Love it there. Won't go anywhere else except for St. Lucia, because I am going to have a retreat center in 2 years, and y'all all going to come and do y'all conferences at the center. And so my why do I do this? Like, why did I take a chance of walking away from so much? It's because of my why, my 3 T's. So my company got the name 3T because when I moved to Dallas, I didn't have a car. I had 3 kids. I had a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an 8-year-old. We rode the bus for 6 months. One of them carried the light bread. I say light bread, I'm from Louisiana. One of them carried the cereal, the macaroni and cheese. One of them carried the milk, and I carried the meat on the bus line in 2020. I remember days when I would guard my kids because cars would splash us and we didn't have time to go back inside. So to protect them, I had to make sure that we got there on time. That's my why. So I have 3 daughters. My oldest daughter is a regional director. She manages 10 stores in the Texas, Oklahoma region. So that's my why. I do it for family legacy, for freedom, and for flow. If you're talking about contracting, it's not an easy process. It's intensive. It's not like it's so hard. It's just you have to have everything lined up. Like the previous speaker, Lady Finance, said, everything she went through talking about what you need for your business is what you need to get in position, whether you're doing corporate contracting or whether you're contracting with the government. So you have to have that mindset of what it is that you want to do, why you want to do it, making sure that it's aligned. So you do it from your experiences. Maybe it's your life experiences. Maybe it's the job that you've had. Maybe it's just what you love, like what you have a joy for. So you want to take that, not just do what is your passion, but then form processes around that so that you can get to the funds and so that you can get to the contracts. So what do corporations buy? You guys, when I say they buy everything, they literally do. From the pen that you're writing with to journals for their employees, manufactured goods, maybe they create something. So they need a raw material. So they purchase that. You could be a broker in between and get that and provide it to them, and now you have a contract. You don't even have to do the work on many of these things. They purchase anything from real estate. When they're negotiating buildings, they need a realtor to come in and to do that, okay? If you are a certified, and then of course with us in the room, we are women, so we have women-owned small businesses. We have minorities. Everybody in the room falls into the minority category. We have servicemen or women in the room. If we do, thank you for your service. And you guys have, oh my God, wait till I get to what y'all got. By consulting services like what I do, where I come in and I consult with them, do road mapping, feasibility schedules, studies, all types of things. They purchase health and wellness counselors. So maybe you are a yoga instructor. My daughter can come into a facility and we're working on a deal for her to come in and teach the elderly how to do yoga in a chair. And they will give her a contract to do that. So if you think about it, and you have a service or a good, there is probably a requisition with your name on it, okay? Staffing, of course, insurance benefits. I was just speaking to the young lady in the back about that. You may be an insurance agent. You can come into a corporation, and maybe it's a supplemental service that you provide. You have this package you put together, it goes with their wellness program, and you can pitch that. They will then payroll it so that you don't get chargebacks, okay? You can structure even deals like that as a contractor. And so what types of companies contract? You have major corporations such as like Bank of America, Delta Airline, AT&T. Here's the thing, you guys. These major companies are getting government contracts. They have to, by law, it's mandated. give out 23% of those contracts to minority business owners. The problem is that we are not structured properly. We don't have everything like Dr. T teaches for the funding. Just having a real business address, having a real business email address, not a Yahoo, not a Google or Gmail or anything like that. But those type of simple things will cause you to not be able to contract, right? But yes, they have to give out 23% of what they're awarded to minorities. That's all of us in this room. What's required? Let's get into what's required to be a contractor. Of course, your business has to be registered with your state. You want to make sure you know, of course, talk to the professionals as to how you structure that, whether that is an LLC, an S Corp, or corporation, right? Once you are, then you acquire, of course, your EIN and your business insurance. Many of these companies, especially corporations, they'll want to see that you have at least $1 million rider, and then sometimes errors and omissions, and sometimes bonds insurances. And so you want to make sure you have your insurances in place. You definitely want a business banking account. Of course, not to commingle your funds, but to make sure that everything is separated. Again, these are the things that Dr. T is talking about just to be able to get funding, right? And then, of course, an office location. Let me just pause right there. And I really want to stress this, especially when you're getting ready to go in to SAM.gov, and which we'll talk about in a few minutes, to register as a contractor with the government. It cannot be just a co-working space. You actually have to have a dedicated desk, right? So if you have a co-working space, that's okay. But you can't have a co-working space where you just come in and get your mail, or you come in and you may have some open space. You actually have to have a dedicated office or a dedicated desk. And then, like, your resume, your personal resume, as well as your business. But you guys know that you are your business, so every skill that you have, you leverage that in your business, okay? And then an online presence. They want to know that you're a real business, even if it's a one-pager, that you are a real business. And then to be able to prove up, even if you help, like someone in your family set up something, or they purchase your goods and services, they want to see that you have done something, you know, to show that you are actual true. So that was from the corporate side. And then moving into government contracting. So you may ask, why would you want to get registered as a government contractor? First of all, the United States of America is the largest consumer in the world. They consume over $650 billion every year. And the last couple of years, it's been over $5 trillion that the United States has purchased. And so they have the most buying power. You have on-time payments. And so whether that's a net 15 or a net 30 or a net 45 or a net 90, you know your money is going to come in on time. And then longevity. You're looking at contracts. For instance, there was a young lady who was just awarded a contract. She was just awarded a contract. She started her business this year in April. She got registered as a contractor in SAM.gov. She then went on to get certified as a woman-owned small business. That process could take anywhere from 30 to like 180 days. She got that. She knew what she wanted. She wanted to have a postal route. You guys, like 2 weeks ago, she was awarded a 4-year, $6 million contract. She does not own one truck at all. She is actually subbing it out to 2 truckers. And even after she pays them, she still became an instant millionaire. It's that kind of money in the space. And it's that kind of quick to action when you have your documents and your paperwork, and you know your capability, you know what your business does, you know what service you provide, and you have your systems in place. Just like that. Whether it's 6 months or whether it's 3 months or whether it's 12 months, is it not worth it to get into position to get a piece of this pie? We're talking about $650 billion, $5 trillion that the government spent. And again, major corporations are getting parts of these contracts, but they have to work with us. It's a mandate. Some of them don't even meet the numbers. Like last year, there's a 5% mandate for HubZone. They only reached 4% because people are not in the zone. They're not registered. But a lot of us have offices that may be in the zone, okay? We'll talk about what the zone is here in a minute. So this is the reason why you should get contracted. This is does the government buy? Security, whether that's cybersecurity, live security. We know election year is coming up. You know what they're gonna need? Security guards. I have another young lady that's in my network. She just got a subcontract. She didn't get the prime contract. She got a subcontract, and she is providing security guards. She too got $1 million payout in the last year. Now she's not even the prime on this. She the sub, okay? So, and that's where I have made my money. I have done multiple six figures every year as a subcontractor. I work with other larger consulting firms as a consultant, and I come in and do implementations. And that's how we're able to grow. And now that we've been in business for 5 years, this is our year to scale. So I'll be bringing on other subcontractors, project managers, program managers, and things of that nature so that we can go after larger contracts and get into the first position as either a prime with the government or a preferred vendor supplier with corporations, because those are the different titles that you go for depending on which type of contract. Okay? The government buys things like gift cards. I was just looking at a rec a couple of days ago. They needed gift cards. Like literally they had a program. They want to be able to give out Walmart, Target, Kroger, and I can't remember what the other place was. And so, yeah, in my group, we bid on that. It was a contract for like $12,000 to just provide them with some with some gift cards from Walmart. They needed a floor scrubber. It has a certain software. They just needed someone to provide the floor scrubber. My cousin, I'm working with her now. She's a service disabled veteran. She's a black woman. She lives in a HubZone. She qualifies for every designation that you can get. She said, oh, that's what I used to do when I was in the military. I used to order all that equipment. Oh, okay. Research writers, laboratories. One of the big things right now is they have a large set-aside pool. So you guys know how natural disasters come through, right? There's a natural disaster. Someone has to put up the makeshift housing. Someone has to take that down. There is a large pool, like I think it's $27 million that's set aside for that over the next 2 years when anything happens. So if you have a dump truck, they will be hiring you. Even like a dump truck, you don't even have to load or unload. You drive there, sit your truck there, they put something on it, you take it to the place, they take it off. It's those types of opportunities that are available. Signage, road signs, you name it, photography services, videography, event planning. The government purchases all that, catering, everything. The government purchases as well as major corporations. And again, they have to set aside 23% for corporations. The government, the number is the same. And in some places at a state level, that goes up to like 26%. So depending on your state, it could be even greater. So which government agencies are doing these types of purchases? The Department of Justice, Department of Energy, Department of Agriculture, Treasury, Defense, Transportation, Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, like you name it. They have so many agencies that you can get in and just work one agency and be set. And as you become more familiar with the procurement officers and you're performing well on these contracts, they will send you more stuff. They will be like looking for you. Like, can you find somebody for this? Can you sub this out? And again, you don't have to do all of the work. Usually they don't put a stipulation in there. Unless they do, you can subcontract it out. And that's where the space that we're moving into in 2024. So looking at the numbers, revenue that as far as a range, when it comes to small businesses, to be considered a small business is anywhere from 1 up to 1,500 people and anywhere from startup up to $4 million. That's a big number to be still considered a small business, right? And these are the types of set-asides that they have for small businesses. As a small business, 23% or 23% of all awarded contracts has to go to a small business. That's a $115 billion pool. I just want a little piece. For minorities like us, we fall into small business, we fall into minority owned, and then many of us in the room are women. We fall into the women category. So for minorities and women, that's an extra 5% that only we get to play in, right? That's still $25 billion for us. And they're not meeting all of these numbers every year. Sometimes they exceed them, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they come very close to it. But then when you drop into the veteran-owned businesses, especially a service-disabled veteran, oh my God. And they have so many resources available to help you work through. Like Lady Finance was talking about the SBA loans, the 8A program, the 7A program. As you start to build your business, they want to give the money away. Corporations want to give the money away. They say that there aren't enough of us that they can give it to. Are we even looking? Do we even know? And then the hub zone, which is a historically underutilized business zone. So that's a lower socioeconomical area. If you have an office there and you employ two, or you have 2 employees in the area, you qualify for a hub zone, right? So the next thing we're talking about here is just what is required. Again, some of the same things that Dr. T talks about, the same thing that Lady Finance talked about earlier, and then some additional things. First of all, to register your business, you have to go into sam.gov, and it is an extensive application. So be prepared if you're doing it yourself, if you're not contracting that out with someone to do that service for you. But you go into sam.gov, and you're going to, of course, have your business registered. You're going to have your EIN. Again, the address, I'm wrapping up too. The address here is, I just want to stress that, and the fact that you have to have a dedicated space. And then, of course, you have to have a business bank account because that's how they pay you, through wires into your account. You want to, of course, have a web presence. They're going to research your company. Like, trust me, I did it myself, and I had a previous address. I didn't change it on the front end. It delayed me for 3.5 weeks, and I just had to go back and forth, and it was such a headache. I actually had to redo the application. So you want to make sure that that is correct. Of course, you go into SAM. It's very easy. You'll get your unique identifier. And then once you do that, you fill out the application, submit all the documentation, and it's about I guess it would be about a 3-week process, but it doesn't take more than a month if all of your information is correct to get registered as a government contractor. Of course, you'll need to pass the IRS background check, so whether that's personal or if with a new business, or if you have your business, they just want to make sure everything aligns, your business name, your EIN, and then how you filed your taxes, because again, you can't be delinquent on any of those things. So again, across the board, the messaging is the same as far as the requirements. Once you get the requirements, that's it, right? It's a done deal. Issue you a cage number, and once you get that number, you are a federal contractor. You can start going after bids. And I mean, and you want to register with the SBA. So registering with the SBA puts you in position to now start going after the additional funding and the services that they allow for. And this is just a list of the different designations. I mean, they have all types of set-asides that are exclusive to this socioeconomical groups. Like, we fall into several of these categories, and we just need to be positioned to go after those contracts.